Hello friends, in this video I would like to share some stories of how I am working to become a better storyteller. Hopefully some of these stories will help you, inspire you to continue on your journey if you are trying to get better at stories. Ever since I was a kid, I had been super interested in computer science to most of my life, to solve problems or even spend most of my time. That's right. I am a computer nerd. To JavaScript or to Python? If you'd like to know the answer of that question, leave your comments below. This has been an enjoyable life for me. However, it has some challenges. Not everyone speaks computer language. So if I ever wanted to build meaningful relationships, such as friends and family, or if I wanted to grow in my craft, such as communicating my ideas to leadership, then it was super important that I become a better communicator and that I could explain my ideas in stories that are relatable to management and other people. I remember about 6 years ago, I had a conversation with my manager and we were talking about ways that I could become a better communicator when I ran across a group called Toastmasters. It is a worldwide organization. I, at the time, thought I would not enjoy it. I thought maybe it was going to be something like high school speech. I just didn't like it at that time in my age. So I gave it a try anyway, and the group that I found was extremely fun, extremely supportive. In fact, I won 5 major awards with this group. I also had fears that I wouldn't enjoy or I would be nervous in talking in front of groups, especially large groups. Well, it turns out after a couple years of practice, I was invited to my company's all hands meeting to give a presentation on our innovation lab. This was extremely enjoyable. We had over 1,500 people in person and another 1,500 people live online. I was able to get them to cheer and be excited about what I was talking about. This was a great moment. After this, I had wanted to bring this skills along with leadership that I learned into a more specific area of my industry where I could communicate or teach these skills to other people. This is where I had been inspired to create a meetup. Now I had some fears and challenges of what I was going to do with this meetup. The first thing I wondered is anyone going to come? And what I learned through this process was branding and advertising, to learn how to put my name and my message out there so people would understand and want to join this group. It turns out that I was able to get 10 to 20 people every week and keep the conversations flowing. I also had concerns and I was nervous about if people would enjoy my presentations. And it turns out that they were inspired themselves and volunteered to give their own presentations, where we now had started creating a community where we had over 500 people on our meetup. And lastly, I also had fears if people would ever return, because if you've ever been part of a meetup, a lot of times people come once and then they never come back. Well, during the 3 years that I was part of this, we had people that continued to return, and I built some meaningful and long-term relationships. Toward the end of this journey, I was now led into a new area of extending this to online. And my favorite platform to share and be able to reach more people around the world is YouTube. When I first started YouTube, I had some concerns. My first was, how would I handle negative criticism? Well, I have learned a couple things. I know that it is always going to happen, but what I have realized is either the person that is speaking negatively is giving criticism, just does not know how to give that criticism in a positive way. Or if the person says something mean with no context, then there's a high probability that person may just have jealousy that they are expressing, and it is nothing personal. So I've learned to just ignore it. The other concern I had when getting into YouTube is how to get set up. Do I need special equipment? How much is this going to cost? And to get started, it really does not take much. We all have a phone, and the quality of the video is just right for beginning YouTubers. I invested in two things. One was a lavalier microphone for $20 so I could get good audio, and the other was video editing software Final Cut Pro for $300. This was all I needed to get started making videos. After I made quite a few videos, I learned that I wasn't growing in my storytelling, and I had to ask myself the question, how would I change the corner? How would I get better? And what I realized is I wanted to move from educating people to entertaining them. By entertaining, I could connect with a broader audience, but I had several questions of how I was going to do this. Was I going to have to start over? Or was I going to be looked as an amateur because I am now entering new skills, and what was that going to be like for my audience? Would I lose following and receive more criticism? And what it has turned out is I have learned new skills. For example, I have been able to share my intellect knowledge, but also be able to incorporate emotion by doing stories and being able to act in those stories. I have also been able to include my paintings and illustrations because those are what are deeply moving emotionally. After approximately 6 years in this journey, I have made my goals in Toastmasters, created a Meetup, and had wonderful experiences. And now I am working at growing as a filmmaker. My goal as a filmmaker is to improve each video more than the last. It has been an extremely fun journey. I have a lot of room for growth that I'm looking forward to improving my stories, my acting, my illustrating, and it is an extremely rich art that we can all enjoy. I hope you enjoyed and got a lot out of this video. It has been a lot of fun in this journey, so I would love if you shared your storytelling techniques or stories themselves. I would love to hear those, and I'll wish to see you in the next video. Cheers, God bless.